first and foremost, you got to tell the folks about the story of how you even came to hear about my channel, what you were doing, what were you at in life. That blew me away hearing that.
All right, so basically it was 2 years ago. I was in the military for 6.5 years, and I had to coming to Jesus moment. I'm like, look, if you're gonna take this music serious, you got to crack down. And as you know, it's certain things that you have to do: engineering, making the beat, what is it called? Arranging the beat, all of those type things that you got to learn. You can learn as you go, but found a course from you on YouTube. Boom, bought the course. Got back to Germany. I didn't even have a laptop at the time. I'm watching it on my phone.
Right.
Got back to Germany. Went to the BX, got a gaming laptop. I knew that I needed, specific RAM processor. So I'm like, boom, got it.
Right.
Went back to the room. I was able to buy FL. I didn't even have FL yet. Bought FL. Curtis King. You know what I mean? I lit it up and I was good to go.
That's crazy. Like I hear these kind of stories from time to time, but I think that what a lot of people don't understand, and we talked about this, us as creators, when we start making this content, we're making it kind of in a vacuum. We just make our stuff and then we put it out in the world, and we just kind of assume it's one type of producer or one type of artist that the message is for. To hear like that you were out there and able to take advantage of the course the way that you did, man, is super dope. So for the folks who don't know who you are or what you do, kind of give them a little bit of and where you're from, kind of give them a little bit of a short description of who you are.
I bet. Lowkey Jimmy, that's my stage name. I'm a musician first, drummer. I was on the drum line, stuff like that. I am a producer, engineer, artist, writer. I just like to say I'm a creative, because who wants to say all of that? And you know what I mean? We're just putting out good music. I think that I don't have a lane. I don't like to put lanes. I don't believe in specific genres. I like blending genres, and I just like making good music, man.
Good. And so what kind of got you into music? What was it? Was there influences? Was there something that kind of inspired you to get into it? Because you have a very, like, it's hard to peg your sound with those 2 submissions that you gave. It's really hard to figure out like where this EP is getting ready to go. And I get excited about that because I can't stand being in a box myself. But with you being a DIYer in every sense of the word, I am really curious to know, like, what's sort of your origin story?
I think it started for me. I have an older sister, so my parents are old. Like, my pops is like in the mid 70s, mom is in her early 60s.
Okay.
So my sister, my closest sister, she's a singer. She was signed to a gospel label, and I grew up in the church. So I was like, 9, 10, playing with grown men on the drums.
Right.
I always been in music, and I kind of always went secular. I never wanted to be like a gospel rapper or a gospel singer. So I think I had Reason 4.0. I don't know when it came out. I met a guy, me and my mom met a guy in Guitar Center. She's like, oh, this is $600. You know what I mean? We can't get this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I don't know if you remember back in the day, you can get a disc. And he was like, yo, if you come to the car, I got Reason 4.0 on a disc. You just type in this serial number.
What was this, Guitar Center?
Inside a Guitar Center.
Bro, why is Guitar Center got every Guitar Center in America got that one person that's like,
hey, shout out to those guys, man.
You can pay this, or I can just get your number and I'll shoot you a text. Meet in the parking lot. It's always one of those in there. But yeah, God bless them.
But seriously, bro. But basically, long story short, I've always been in music, but it took me taking that course, and not even to circle back, but it took me taking that course and kind of having that coming to Jesus moment to say that there are certain things that you got to do if you want to be great. You got to put that time in, and I had to put that time in. Luckily, I ain't have nothing else to do in Afghanistan for 7 months. So,
man. So talk to us about this project we're getting ready to listen to, because, I want to be respectable. What is it? I want to respect your time, but I also want to make sure that we leave a little space open for those who are, having some submissions, but you have the first priority because you took advantage of this, the past. But what was the inspiration, first of all, from the title, Nostalgia is a Scary Thing? And then I want you to kind of talk about the creative process in creating it.
All right, so nostalgia, that feeling you get, it's usually a positive feeling. But I was having a convo with one of my buddies. So, example, you talking to a chick from your past, and you might not see that it's a negative thing. It might be a toxic relationship, but that nostalgic feeling that you get from being around this person, it might blind that. So that's where I kind of came up with nostalgia as a scary thing.
Yeah.
And basically, bro, I've just been dropping EPs every month, just trying to get those reps out. I think it's important to, as an artist, a producer, engineer, to get those reps out as a DIYer, honestly.
Man, and you were that in every sense of the word, and we're honored to have you here, bro. And I'm itching to hear it. So creative process wise, we're gonna talk about this throughout the project, but creative process wise, how long did it take you to put this together?
About I want to say 3 to 4 weeks. I was waiting on
3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I dropped one last month. I literally been
Oh, you
this is like
wildin'.
6 in a row.
Yeah. Oh, you
And bro,
wild.
what's crazy is I want everyone to know, like, it takes these reps, because if you listen to the first gym, I was naming them gym tapes at first.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen to the first one, it was boom bap. It's, my vocals are thin. You know what I mean? It's just things that, as me and you as engineers will know, like, oh, okay,
Right.
you know what I mean? He could have fixed this. But it's just that progression up until this point. It took those reps to get there. So, and I mean, like I said, that was just a promise I made to myself. Like, look, if you're gonna do this, you certain things you gotta do.
Man. Okay. Well, let's play this thing in order, and let's listen to, first and foremost. It's called "Haunt for Love." Tiny Habits Flip. You ready for it? You ready to play it, ladies and gentlemen? We ready for this? Well, then let's get into it. Here we go. Let's go ahead and cut that off. There we go.
Dream, I would buy it. If I ain't make you believe I was a liar. If being for you was me, I would get fired. Like for real, you still tripping about Mariah. I feel away, girl, you know I feel away.
Hey.
And if you leave in the day or the night, either way I feel the pain. Don't believe all the hype and the lies, for the God, it's a face. It's a face. My feelings on this song, it's what you do to me. Not a fan of me, but you still root for me. I wanna love you, girl, I feel like Akon. Lock for a home run, I feel like A-Rod. On her toes, make her feel it in her soul. Lowkey can never be a runner-up. Lord, forgive me for my sins, all the things that I put her through. Even wish you'll never know. Spin the block one more again. If you spin it, baby, we can run it up. Spin the block one more again. Spin the block one more again.
This man said 3 to 4 weeks. I'm tripping out. It's crazy, bro. So how you just start off? You just gonna start the EP off like that? That's just how you feeling. That's how you feeling. You just gonna start it off like that. Unique.
Just making some music, bro. That's it.
That's what folks do when they make amazing music. They just make it real simple like that. You out here making music, bro. That's all it is. There's more than that. I hear more than that. I love on this first one, and I want to let the natural flow of the project run through, but I want to give a little bit of thoughts in between. I love the attention to detail of every layer. It's not just a bunch of sounds. It's not just a bunch of, well, I think this will fit. I think this will fit. It sounds like everything is very deliberate, but it doesn't feel that way. There was a funny comment that came through from Unique from 99 Doors. He said 3 to 4 for the beats. He said 3 to 4 weeks for the beats in recording. It'd be another month for mixing for me. How were you able to weave so many different elements and evoke an emotion in such a small window of time?
I mean, my general workflow is the beats first. So I'll cook up a beat, and I don't know where I heard this on YouTube, but if I'm cooking up a beat and in that process I'm not already rapping, melodic, doing something, then I'm throwing. I mean, this is a bad habit, and it sounds crazy, but I'm not even. I literally will like open a new project in the middle of something, not say, and move on, just because I know what my goal is. My goal is to make a song from start to finish. So if I'm 30 minutes in and the beat's not doing what it needs to do, I'm moving to the next one. But when I catch that whatever, I got my note out. I usually mumble, you know what I mean, whatever, and then boom, bring up the notepad, fill in the words as I go. And so I'm kind of writing and making the beat at the same time. So when I'm in studio one, laying down my vocals, I kind of have the beat done, and I'm laying my vocals down as I go almost. And then I'll just, after I have it arranged, I'll do, the words are done now, I'll run it back through, get that last final strong take, and we good. We mixing.
Man, it shows an attention to care, which is something that I think is really hard to teach, is that you can give somebody all the basics of how to maneuver their way through a mix, but knowing why you distort the vocals in the background, as Courtney alluded to, knowing why that emotionally makes you feel different from just throwing a thick layer of reverb over it. It's things that are just, that is your skill set, you know, for all of us. That is our skill set, is our decision making is a part of that. So, all right, well, let's listen to October on the Weekend. What is the story of this song? Or do you not want to explain it? You tell me, and we'll go.
I would rather explain it afterwards.
Okay, let's listen to it. So this one's called October on the Weekend.
Shorty in October, I'm dropping Drake feels. Autumn leaves, hoodie in the race wheels. Pushing the V through the V, I can't stay still. Even when we ducked off, she still feel like she's celeb. Cabin vibes in the mountains, we both love the same. Pumpkin spice air fresh, now I know that you love that fragrance. I feel you how you feel me, girl, we not gon' say it. We the same person, don't want no relations. Screaming why you love me in the first place. Good gracious, my goodness. She say, would you be with someone else, babe? Cause I couldn't. Winter time when it get cold, oh, would you leave? No, I wouldn't. You know that I love you when you not looking. You know that I love you when nobody around. You just want somebody to hold you down. You want somebody to hold you close. You know people change like the seasons. The leaves fall in October on the weekends. I know that you want me every weekend. The leaves fall in October on the weekends. You wish that my heart was for the keeping. The leaves fall in October on the The leaves fall in October on the weekends. The leaves fall in October on the fall in October on the weekends. The leaves fall in October on the weekends.
take off this loop. Take off this loop real quick. This loop is loopity looping. That's just I'm used to doing that. All right, man. Another amazing record, and I think another one that showcases your versatility. The fact that you're making music like this that has, I keep going back to the layers, but the fact that you have this kind of music, this kind of dynamic music that you're making it from home. You brought up a point before that I think was really, really interesting about how you want to encourage artists to do more of that recording from home, because a lot of folks think they need the big studios in order to have a big sound. What do you have to say about that?
I'm not going to say my comment that we said earlier, but I definitely encourage, because it's because of this. When it's Friday night and it's 11 o'clock at night and everyone's sleeping, I'm alone with just my DAW and my microphone. I'm going to do things a little different than if I have five of my boys in the stew, a couple girls, engineer that I'm not, super personal with. I'm going to react different naturally. Mm-hmm. So, and one, I don't want to be around any of those people anyway.
you and I both. Oh my gosh. I don't want nobody engineering my music that I feel like that who may not feel what's going on. Like, if you just kind of like it, I don't want you making decisions, because now I have to put your professionalism on. I have to figure out if your professionalism is actually high, because if not, if you don't like your job, it's gonna show in your work.
I'm gonna be 100. I daydream about me getting to where I want to go, and I know I'm gonna have to have a hard conversation one day with someone that probably has a lot more accolades than me and a lot more experience. But I would rather you teach me whatever you think I don't know, and let me go. And you know what I'm saying, I'll give it to you when I'm done. But that's just kind of the freedom we have. Like, even if you listen to some of the delays or some of the chorus effects that I put on stuff, and I don't know if anyone else is gonna just naturally just go to that. You know what I mean? And as an artist, I think it's important that it's easy to break away and get your own sound quicker, if you do it on your own.
And who gonna put that much care into it when it's your music?
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? This is your music. Like, you gonna give it. So, okay, give me the story of October on the Weekend, right? Is the name of that one?
So obviously the project dropped in October. So I was telling either my girl or somebody, one of my boys, like, look, I wanted to get that Drake feel. That's definitely the way I was going. But I obviously wanted to stay in my own lane. So I tried to use some of those OVO textures, some of those OVO drums, and just embrace that mood. Use October, use things like pumpkin spice on the weekends, hoodies, leaves falling, just kind of make you feel like there's no way you can listen to that song and don't know that the setting is October. So that's basically, and I just attached a story to that. So I was basically storytelling and making you feel like you in October.
and salute to you for being aware of the shifts that music goes throughout different times of the year. I don't think enough artists are aware of it, that, music like this is really hard to push at the top of summer. Why? Because everybody is like, they're not booed up. Like they not folks trying to be out there summertime at the summer parties. Most folks, like, are, younger or whatever, are trying to be out and about. You're not trying to be, booed up or whatever. But after summer is over and the weather gets cooler, you are spending more time with family. There's more holidays. And there's a reason why artists like my favorite artist is Sade. She released a lot of projects in that September to December arena, because people are psychologically more ready to really sit with the music and embrace it on that level and give it its full attention. So I got to give you props for that one too.
Appreciate it.
All right, so the next one is called Scary Truth. All right, let's get to it.
Don't you
Are you dumb? No. Don't you always say the same thing? You know what? You done. I don't even care who you are. I'm over it.
You good for leaving. I'm not too good at reading. gotta tell me what you want, or what you even see in niggas. It was giving ring, giving family. You used to getting everything you need from me. I gotta keep you inside and make weekend visits. Can't have you meeting niggas. You got a decent nigga, baby. We tight like cement, with a couple cracks in it. Act different, then I'm leaving. You like an achievement, your puzzle missing pieces. You bring out the beast and the weakness in niggas. You playing dirty, but I miss the clean. I can't say what I want when I'm in between. I just can't give you all of me, Billie Jean. You keep putting walls right in front of me. Girl, what? You can't tell me none. A slut ain't really what I want. I'm just being honest. Shorty, I can keep a promise. I'ma give you what you need, like, girl, what? You can't tell me none. A slut ain't really what I want. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest.
Oh my God. Bam. This man don't miss. This man don't miss. This man don't miss. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Why your weeks look different than my weeks? 3 or 4 weeks, I might have got one of these off, maybe. There's so much complexity, but I think your true genius is not making it feel complex. Your true genius. I was having a critique with someone. One of the last few episodes that great. They had a crazy arrangement, but it just felt like it was a lot of things going on, and it's uncomfortable for the listener at some point when they feel like, all right, are you trying to impress other producers, or are you actually allowing me to be a listener and understand what the topic is and what the subject matter is? And I think that's something that is a supremely great skill set for you, is that you have these complex elements that other producers know, but we know because it's nuanced. It's not at the forefront. You're not trying to show like, I can do this, I can do that. Look what I can do. That's not what you're doing. And the music just flows all the way from top to bottom. So I got to give you your props. What's the story on Scary Truth?
Scary Truth came about in a convo, like most of my songs do. I'm just telling a story of a toxic relationship, man. You want to be there, and you don't need to be there. And that's kind of what the basis of this project is. I had a friend of mine do the shorty in the beginning. She gave me that. That's kind of what glued it together. And I felt like I needed that because it was a longer intro. Mm-hmm. But that with the sample and the kind of, it was bread and butter for me. I liked it.
Man, Unique from 99 Doors said, yeah, this is going on my playlist. When is it dropping? It's out now, right?
It's out, man. Appreciate it.
It's out now. That's why we're doing a listening session for it. So, man, I'm grateful to be part of the rollout for a project like this from a DIYer like yourself. We appreciate you having us there for it. We got 2 more tracks on here, and then I want to open it up to a little bit of Q&A. If you guys have any questions about plugins or his process, he told me that he's an open book about it, and he will definitely share that with you. Lotus Black always got the funniest comments. He said, I hate how evergreen the effectiveness of the woman's voice clip is. He said, a laughing emoji. It's like automatic. I'm in my feelings now. It don't even matter what she said.
Hey, I seen that. He's funny.
Oh, man. Creative D Will wants to know, what microphone are you using?
Man, hey, look, I tell people this and they think they're so shocked. So this is my favorite mic right here. This is a Warm Audio replica mic. And I'm a gear junkie, so you gotta forgive me.
No, you good.
But
you in the right place.
This is it's an $800 mic, and I think it's very cool. It sounds good on some people's vocals. Mm-hmm. This mic is $80 from PreSonus, and a company called Coda sent me a preamp,
Yeah.
which is another $80. And this is a replica of the Shure SM7B, bro. The Shure, this is the PD70. In short, this is the PD70, $80 from PreSonus. It's my go-to mic. I use this on all of my projects. I use this when I'm recording other people, and the vocals that I get from it, I don't know, man. Y'all might want to tap in. I don't know. $80. Give it a try.
What I'm hearing is like how soft it is on the high frequencies, on the resonance. It doesn't sound like it's harsh at all. Like when it sounds like you're getting ready to go there, it kind of just controls it, and it doesn't sound like it's like an overusage of compression. It just sounds like it's very sensitive to the highs in your voice. So that's dope.
It's budget friendly, man. I'm a cheap dude, so I'm there.
I think post pandemic, a lot of folks is in that same, even if they got the money, in that same boat. Miles Wilkerson wants to know, where did your inspiration stem from? I'm assuming for this song.
This song, I don't know. I don't think I have an actual inspiration as far as, something that happened. Like I said, it was a conversation. I knew that I was going for, like I said, those Drake vibes. So I'm going to talk about different things that happen in a relationship, different things that you might experience with your partner. So that's kind of where the whole project stems from.
Man, as long as it works and it's not broke, stick with it. That's a DIY mantra right here. We all understand that. I remember my first microphone was a Radio Shack headset microphone that was meant to be for operators who, when you used to have to dial 0 to talk to an operator, and they had these headsets, they had those microphones, and I was like, this is the only one in my budget. I couldn't even get a regular omnidirectional, so I got that, took it home, and was like, all right, well, let me figure out how to mix around this since there is no tutorials on it. But it's that mentality, I think, that helps you maneuver anywhere, anything that you're trying to do. I think I even used like a mic converter for that headset mic. Like one of those that had changed it. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, well, this sounds a little bit better, so let's run with it. But man, that's the story.
Steve Lacy record on his iPhone, bro.
That's nuts. And Steve Lacy's one of my he got a few of my favorite songs out right now. I got a playlist, I call it the Cold Shower playlist. It was like a playlist full of music that was hella soulful, neo soul, and just like experimental singing. And he's definitely on that playlist. So whenever I take my cold shower, I'm not thinking about how it was freezing outside. And I'm like, man, but you got to have that kind of music. So, all right, the next one is called The Air Thing Interlude. So let's go ahead and play that and then talk about it.
For you know I will move mountains. Who was around when you was down bad? I gave you time enough to bounce back. Gave you my all and get an ounce back, yeah. Gave you my all, gave you my everything. Gave you my all, gave you my
Gave you my all, my heart, my everything inside of me. Lost me when you crossed me, recollection of that saddens me, hardens me. You took a step back, I'll go get your heart from where you left it. Don't hold on to the past, girl, forget it. If I gave it to you again, you will reject it. I'll give you everything and more, girl, don't forget that. And I'm not into keeping score, quit trying to get back. Hard to see you leave, girl, don't you go. If you walk away from me, don't take no roses. Won't you climb on top this tree and watch it grow? I'll give you everything and more. Girl, you with everything, we know that you got motion. Girl, you took a part of me, got to know this. When you posted on IG, what's your motive?
It's so many sonics, but it all feels like it fits, right? When you think about from the first one all the way to here, you have ran through a few different types of instruments, but it still feels cohesive in the time of the season. So I'm curious, was this 3 to 4 weeks ago that you're creating this?
Bro, I finished this project. I mastered it Sunday, and I started 3 weeks from Sunday. I started.
That is nuts.
And I wanted to release it earlier, but
Okay.
I couldn't get it done quick enough just with work and regular life.
And you got a job. Hold on, wait. And you got work that you're doing too.
Bro, my job is 2 hours away from my house, so I commute 4 hours a day. I really don't make music Monday through Thursday.
Don't come to me with no more excuses. Don't shot no none of y'all come to me with no more excuses because I'm gonna just say low key.
Hey,
You say low key. Low key. Low key what? Low key Jimmy. Like the man's commuting 2 hours back and forth from work. I know folks who ain't gonna take a job 2 minutes away if they feeling a little bit under the weather. 2 hour commute. Then after a 2 hour commute back and forth, which is 4 hours, like for those who don't know math, you come home and you create art like this. It's one thing to go in there and kind of fiddle around with things like most people do. But you go in here and do this. What fuels you? I mean, we all have a love for music, but it's got to be what's deeper at the surface that we wouldn't know that fuels something like this. Is it you thinking about this at work? Or do you have the kind of job where it allows you to kind of like record ideas, or like what's driving you to go through to go through the traffic and all these things that we think are not a big deal until we're actually there, to come home and create art like this, bro?
I mean, obviously, like you said, the passion and the love for it. But I'm at work on YouTube watching you, Bolo, Creative D Will. I'm watching everybody. I ran through videos, you know what I mean? I'm watching even things talking about rock music. I'm just always embracing music. But bro, I mean, when you feel like this is something that you're supposed to do, I think that's enough. Like when it feels like this is your calling, when it feels like you're supposed to be walking in that, you're gonna kind of do what it takes. And I don't know where it's gonna take me, but I'm riding, you know what I mean? We're gonna find out.
Well, you know, if it hasn't been expressed, you need to know I'm riding with you. This is
Sure.
when I made a video a few months ago, and it's not about me. This is really about this listening. But when I made a video a few months ago, talking about how I was making a pivot and embracing independent, Lowkey Jimmy is the embodiment of why I want to embrace. It's the embodiment of he is now the clear avatar I think about when I make these videos, because some folks do have a lifestyle that's like most of us are not. We're not even having to deal with that many obstacles to get to music, and we still don't get to it. But the fact that you are doing that, the fact that you don't use that, I had to ask these questions of you. I would not know this had I not asked. You didn't volunteer. You didn't wear it as a badge of honor. You just like, dog, what would you do for what you love? What would you do for what you're passionate about? And I get that so much, and not everybody gets this, especially as I start to maneuver in the YouTube space. I just saw that just wasn't embedded in everyone. You got that. You got that, and the fact that this music is coming together so seamlessly, I'm like, not only do I believe in you being a tremendous success, but I believe in you being a tremendous independent success that will be able to determine your own terms when they come knocking.
Appreciate you, bro. I mean, and not to have this heart to heart we have it in front of everybody, but I think guys like you, Bolo, I'm not gonna name everybody, but y'all do a big justice when it comes to inspiring people, teaching people. Like, you know, I literally wouldn't be able to arrange and mix these beats if it wasn't for you 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Man, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, because I sure ain't making no music like this. I'm looking at you. I'm like, man, teach me something. What you mean? This is amazing, bro. Obviously I don't play keys, but I have an ear for arrangement and what goes where. And that's just something I think that depending on your upbringing, depending on your influences, depending on what you actually look at, that has a big play into it. So you're going to take a piece of information that maybe you got from me and utilize it in a way that I would never utilize it in, and you're doing that. We got a question here from my guy Law. He says, salute to you, bro, and the guest, Lowkey, your music is fire. Question to the both of you. How do you approach finishing songs you like, but you're not in that space anymore as far as the topic? I'm going to leave that one for you.
Okay, so for me, I feel like if I'm not in the head, okay, perfect example. On the track for that we just listened to, the beginning part, I sang that. I wrote the lyrics and I was singing it. And obviously I can be melodic to a sense, but I'm not a singer. I'm not Trey Songz or Chris Brown. Both of those guys were from VA, by the way.
Okay.
But I had to take a step back. Like, I wasn't even going to put that on the project, but I think as long as you have a clear vision of what the song needs to be, or you can write to the song, you kind of have to just, what's the word? Like, I'm going to just say crack down and do it, because to a certain extent, though, I'm sorry for running in circles. I think you should force it to a certain point, and you kind of just got to learn that point. But a lot of times it could sound forced. So you don't want to sound forced, because I feel like the listener will be able to hear, like, you know what I mean? This isn't him. This isn't like really his lane. But in short, bro, you just got to kind of push it until you can't push no more, until you just like, all right, this is not going to work. Some songs just not going to work, bro. I mean, and from my experience, some songs are just not going to get finished. They might not be for you. It might, 2 years from now, you might give it to somebody else, but that's just the reality of making music.
Yeah, I think you spoke to something real powerful, something I speak to a lot too, which is the power of movement, the power of not giving that that part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex to have a dialogue that is supremely judgmental of your process, and it stops you right in your tracks before the idea is even fleshed out. I look at sometimes when I'm cooking up live stream, you'll get folks in the chat who've never seen my process before, and they're like, oh, you're doing that wrong. And I'm like, how could you know if you don't know what goes into the music, if you don't understand why these things are happening in the order that they're happening in? And so for me, I just know that I can't listen to them. I can't listen to even the voice in my head that's trying to stop it when it's too early. And I think a lot of times we are like way too judgmental of our rough drafts, and they're really, really slept on when you think about it. Like, your rough drafts have the DNA of not quote unquote a hit song. Let's not even focus on that. They have the DNA of your best work. And if the only thing that you got to do is keep throwing things at the wall and trying shit and just allowing the process to reveal itself to you, because there's no knowing anything with making music. There's no manual on how we put these creative ideas together. We just do it, and we follow our habits and patterns that have worked before us. But because of that, you got to just go. So for finishing songs, fam, you just got to, like, headspace or not, you got to allow that headspace to give you different sonics. If I'm in a bad headspace, I allow those sonics to come out too. I may not put it out, but I know that I get so excited by the musical process that even in a bad headspace, I may start off with some trash drums, and I'm like, all right, but this melody's kind of fire. So that's it. That inspires me to press new and start something fresh. But you got to keep moving. I think that's important. And shout out to Creative D Will, who I see in here, because he's someone I definitely enjoy his YouTube channel as well. He's asking,
bro.
Man, right? Supremely helpful, Bolo, like everybody in there that you mentioned. He's asking, what is your go-to plugins?
Creative D Will, I gotta give him my props, because when I was living in DC, he got me to this point of mixing. Up until this point now, like I didn't even know what a bus was, but I was able to call him 10, 9, 11 o'clock. Yo, D Will, what does the compressor do? Like, what do I do with this compressor, bro? You know what I mean? And he was able to help me out. But in short, Arterier, man.
Yeah.
The Arterier Analog Lab Suite is by far the best plugin suite on the market.
It's
I'm
a bold
stamping
statement, but it ain't wrong. It's a bold statement. I'm not mad at that.
And I'm saying that because, like I said, I'm a hardware guy. I got motif, wave states. I got stuff. But why buy that?
We're living in 2022, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like
2022. Hey, Curtis, a Juno is $24K. I have that.
Yeah. At one click away.
One click away, super quick. It's not heavy. I also have the Prophet, the Mellotron, and 30 other ones.
Yeah.
Hey, Analog Labs, man.
Bro, you sound like me talking when I was on a panel earlier today talking to a group about how artists are fighting or either embracing AI technology, generative AI technology, and that's the reoccurring conversation is don't be the guy that was like, I don't mess with CDs. It's tapes until the end in 80 whatever when that was. Don't be that guy. Or don't be that lady who's like, nah, the future is tapes. And it's like you can't. You got to recognize when you're that person in the moment. But yeah, that's a great one. Someone asked, I guess it's a continuation of that, and we'll get right back to the project. What about for mastering? What are you using plug-in wise?
Mastering, I'm unorthodox, so I'm using a lot of UAD stuff, and every project is different. I think when I'm mastering, I just kind of go with what I think needs to be applied to the project. But this last one, I used the LA2A. Okay. I used it's called an ATR mastering suite from Waves. It's just one plugin. It has a ton of different consoles inside of it, but I think it's very good, and it's cheap. And then I finish it off with Ozone 10, which it comes with the new complete. So Ozone 10, not the super good one, but I think I have the standard version, and that gets me what I like to say industry standard, but we are the standard. DIYers.
We are the standard. We are the what it's almost like saying when we compare it to the major label realm of the music industry, I look at it like is the plumber concerned about the industry standard of the florist? It's like no, exactly. Because it's two different industries, and I truly feel that way, and I think that the more that folks see examples of artists like you, they recognize like how fooled they've been into believing that this certain type of talent only exists within a Drake or within the people that they've seen, the list of 20 folks that they've seen, and not recognizing that someone like yourself is embodying an amount of talent that not even Drake is displaying. Drake has 40, right? Drake has teams of songwriters. He has camps that I've seen folks be a part of. This is you after a 2-hour commute. And I believe that there's going to come a day where these stories are more intriguing to people than the usual traditional music industry stories, because people can see themselves in you. So, man, oh man. Okay, so we got to get to these last few the last song. No, we on the last song. Jimmy Choo's, man. That breezed by. All right, so we are listening to a project by Lowkey Jimmy called Nostalgia is Scary. We're getting ready to get to the 5th song, which is the last song, and then we're getting into it. And then I'll give you information. So Smoke to the Ceiling. How do we submit? You go to critiquemybeats.com and you get a pass, and it'll provide you an email. You'll send it over to the email, and we'll start playing it. We're getting ready to do that in just a second, right after we talk to Lowkey Jimmy, and yeah, we'll go from there. So let's listen to Jimmy Choo's.
She gon' have her way with somebody else. If I leave her dead, she gon' find somebody else. I'd watch her walk away in them Jimmy Choos. I love to watch her walk away in them Jimmy Choos. I can never lose. By the way, I'm in a different league, I'm a different breed. I be having my way. With a blindfold, they can see that from a mile away. She tell me that she love me with her eyes closed. Going up on the alley, I penthouse to telly. She wanna come over and ride slow. She a designer, baby. She wanna come take a pic and smoke Madro. How you wanna have it, baby? If I get two, you gon' know how to act, though. I ain't no munch, you ain't Ice Spice. And you know I am an asshole. I I know you want me to play nice. Girl, you know that ain't my fashion. High fashion, 24 carats. This magic. Look at Jimmy cashing out. Girl, you better do it like my last one. Girl, you ain't nothing like my last one. I know it ain't nothing like them Jimmy Choos. Jimmy Choos. Jimmy Choos.
Hey.
She gon' have her way with somebody else. If I leave today, she gon' find somebody else. I'd watch her walk away in them Jimmy Choos. I'd love to watch her walk away in them Jimmy Choos.
Man. Oh. Nah, you disrespectful. You disrespectful. You disrespectful. 2 minutes and 9 seconds is disrespectful. But it's a great amount of time to get your idea and your purpose across, but that's disrespectful. I needed that to run for like another 2 or 3 minutes. That's crazy. So,
I appreciate you.
Man, first of all, a round of applause all the way around for this amazing EP. I think you got a lot of folks in here who are going to want to connect with you, who are going to want to probably do music with you, probably want to get more tips from you. So where can people find you? What's the best medium for people to tap in with you?
IG at LK Jimmy. Super simple, at LK Jimmy. They could tap in. I don't do the beat stores. That's funny. I do commissions, right? I do commissions. So I do make beats for people, but I don't do the beat stores. I like, that personal conversation, like, where we headed, what are we doing type thing. So,
Yeah.
And man, y'all could tap in with me, man. Download my music. I'm trying to quit my job, man.
Man, we need it. Look, I'll tell you 2 ways right now. We need a vocal pack from you. First of all, we need a vocal pack. Your vocals, and with that mic, you found the perfect microphone for your vocals that treats your vocals with the care and respect that they should be, because the wrong mic, we will be hearing a completely different presentation, right? Just for anybody. That's just not you, but your equipment, which comes through in the music. Your instrumentation, which comes through in the music. Even like the arpeggiated synthesizer at the end of Jimmy Choo. I'm listening to these elements and I'm like, they fit so nicely around your vocal and around the drums. Even the fact that, like, and this is what I love so much about us being our own industry standard. We get to make these drums as loud as we want. We get to experiment with sonics in a way that would piss off most industry music producers or engineers. Oh, you can't do that because yada 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 and the loudness factor and the luffs. You know what I'm saying? Like with this, I'm hearing you take chances with the mixes that I think a lot of people are afraid to do because they're trying to make something that fits very comfortably in the scope of things. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna have you shoot me an email with your contact information so I can leave it in the actual description after this video goes uploaded. But talk to the people, man. I'm sorry. The second thing, we need some melody packs from you too. We need some melody packs from you because the homie Lotus just said it. He said you said that itch is crazy when niggas try to sample it at the listening party.
Hey, that's funny. Do it, man. Do it. That the first track I sampled from an IG video. Music is all around us, bro. Like, sample it, bro, please.
Man. Okay, so talk to the DIYers. From somebody who is obviously serious about what they're doing, for somebody who is finding success in this, what are some encouraging words that you can give to folks right now who feel like, man, my job is a hindrance. I have so many distractions, and when I finally get to music, I feel uninspired. Like, what kind of words of encouragement can you give to them? Because you're a DIYer in every sense of the word, man.
I think you just have to be around it. So like my mom always said, you are what you feed your spirit, right? So I'm watching Kanye interviews, I'm watching Tyler, I'm watching uh people talk about old Stevie Wonder records. I'm just really embracing what music is and listening to old people talk about, how they got to where they got to, watching guys like you, Creative D Will, just literally trying to learn as much as I do TikTok or much as I watch, Netflix. You want to make sure you're doing more so that when you get in front of your computer, oh, you know what I mean? I watched this 2 days ago. Let me try this type thing. And I think if you're doing that, I don't believe in beat block, bro. I don't think I believe in beat block.
I don't either. I've been saying that's a myth. That's
No,
somebody made that up and pushed that propaganda. And why is it in hip hop we get pushed that propaganda and we don't know who started it? Like, I just want to meet the person that was like, hey, yo, I've been thinking about this word beat maker. I think I'm gonna run this up. Like, who was what's the origin story? Because anything else has origins to it, and we are able to trace it back. But you don't know who infiltrated certain terminology, and you using it, embracing it, not knowing that somebody meant it to demean you. But beat block, man, that's another one. That's an interesting one. Why do you feel like it's a myth?
I think it's in your head, man. I think that, like I think Mobile Music Pro said, we live in a generation where, all right, we're hip hop producers. So one, I can sample a record. That's 30-40% of the battle right there. Or I can hop on Splice, or I can buy packs from different musicians around the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? I got the melody. Now, if you're just not good at drums, then that's a you thing that you need to get better at.
Right.
But shoot, even then, they're drum packs. You know what I mean? There's so many ways that you can get around beat block or just not being inspired. I think that's what it is. You're tired, you don't want to do this, you're trying to force yourself. It's something else. But it's not the music. Don't blame the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it ain't. Don't blame the music. Music is so pure. The music is here, and it's here for you no matter what circumstances you're under. When I think about Dilla having the MPC on his hospital bed and creating certain records, like I never confirmed it. I don't know, a friend of mine who was a big Dilla fan said that "Don't Cry" was one of those he made in a hospital bed, and I'm like, when you see that be a part of the same journey that somebody can go through after a 2-hour commute, or the same journey that I can go through sitting in here for 6 hours for a live stream, you just see that music is with you no matter what. It's us that come and pollute that relationship by giving it names and titles that music ain't got nothing to do with that. Ain't got nothing to do with, like, what are we talking about right now? Like, you made these words infiltrated inside your creative process, and you embraced it. It's called "Welcome to the Show" on the hospital bed. Okay, thank you, B. Gosta. I know somebody new in here, no, but that's what it is. So, man, I'm blown away. I feel like this ain't the last time you and I are gonna chop it up. We're gonna have to figure something out, work on something or whatever. Just know that you got my full support, especially knowing that you're legitimately a DIYer in this. You got my support. So any kind of projects or whatever